Hello and a very warm welcome to another of my video podcasts. This is the last one in which I'm going to talk about themes from my current book. It's a novel called So Many Ways of Loving, and I know many of you have read this already, and thank you very much to those of you that have sent me lovely comments about it. Um, Somebody said, "Oh, there's so many themes that have resonated with me. I'd like to kind of discuss them with other people." So I'm just wondering whether I might start a Zoom at some point and we could discuss the different themes of the book. But we'll see. See if enough people are interested. Perhaps I will. But anyway, the theme I want to discuss today, which is a major thread of that book, is friendship and the real importance of friendship. Of course, friends are important at all ages. When you think back to when you were about 8, say, and if you fell out with your best friend at school, it seemed like a cataclysmic event because you spent playtimes together and lunchtimes together, and suddenly maybe she'd moved away or taken up with somebody else, and it felt like the end of your world. Well, I don't think we feel quite that way as we get older, but as we get older, as I've said so often in these videos, life is full of so many changes. People move because their job ends, or because they've got grandchildren now, or their children need help. Uh, Marriages come to an end because people find they don't have as much in common perhaps as they thought they did. Now their children have gone off to university or whatever. And of course, big events happen. People that we know and love get ill and die, including our partners. So friends are essential, really, as we get older, more and more essential. And I always think because some are always going to drop by the wayside, I mean, it's just the way things are for whatever reason. It's quite important to actively engage in making friends, and sort of set yourself a task, if that doesn't sound too calculated, about um, making 2 or 3 new friends every year. It will stand you in very good stead. Now, in the book, I have 3 characters who come together entirely by chance, and they quickly become friends. As one of my reviewers said, they fall into being forever friends very quickly, and it just really works for them. And that often is the case, I think, as we get older. We don't kind of waste time on rules. We just sort of think this person is speaking my language and I enjoy being with him or her, and it's very good. The other thing I do think, which is also true in the book and very much true in people's lives, is that if you're emerging in mid to later life from a relationship for whatever reason, death or divorce or some other reason, it's only when you're out of it that you recognize how much time you used to pour into that relationship. Of course, when it was a wonderful relationship, you did that joyfully and gladly and probably never thought about it. But when the dust has settled after you no longer have that person, you do realize that you've got this kind of like elasticated time zone, that you've got all this time that you now need to fill in a different way. And taking up new interests is obviously one way you do it, or maybe changing jobs or whatever you might do, but certainly building a different friendship base and making a renewed contact perhaps with people that have been on your periphery, Christmas cards and, oh, we must get in touch, those sort of friends. Well, now you can. And what I would say, and indeed this is certainly true of one of the characters in my book, you don't always get it right in terms of who you think you are going to be close to. Maybe you just assume you stay in the same house and the people around you are going to be those special friends. And then when you've got this extra time, you realize that no, that isn't going to happen. You don't have as much common ground as perhaps you thought you did. And people often say, well, how do you make friends as you get older? Well, I don't know if you remember when you were small, if you're anything like me, your mum always bought Woman or Woman's Own. I mean, I think every single mum on the planet probably did, or certainly in this country. And they had these formidable agony aunts in them. I think the woman one was called Evelyn Home, and the I think there was a Mary Grant. Anyway, I think different journalists wrote it actually. But anyway, um, it was a running gag almost that when people said, "Oh, I'm a bit lonely, I don't know what to do," this agony aunt would always say, "Well, join a club, dear." And that did become a bit of a joke. But the fact is, we do tend to make friends with people who share our interests. Now, in my case, for example, one of the things I've done since I moved back to be in an area where I knew more people, and also, um, got involved with things that interested me. I went on the committee of the Music Society, and I've become very good friends with somebody on that. And she's my age, and we've got a lot in common, and we barely know each other, and yet we're very close friends, and that's a great joy. The other thing I would say about making friends is that if you know you're going to be widowed, and I'm afraid some people, or maybe you're going to be divorced, so that'd be a similar thing. Do think ahead to preparing the ground for the fact you're going to have more time for friends. Let friends know that you are wanting to be in touch with them in a way that perhaps you haven't been for a while. Prepare really for that time when you do have those extra hours. And new friends or reconnecting with old friends can bring great surprises and great joys. I mean, yesterday, for example, I had two people to lunch, which is nice in itself after all the lockdown to be able to entertain again. And one was somebody who was a colleague 40 years ago, and we've become great friends since I've returned to East Anglia. And one was somebody I've hardly known any time at all, but she actually runs an exercise class that I go to. It's been on Zoom. And we've become friends. So the two of them came, and we just had that sort of leisurely lunch that we used to have. No booze, as it happens, and just a really nice time. And I just thought, oh, how lovely it is when you've just got people that you enjoy talking to and being with, and if you like, looking after. Preparing a meal and feeding them is quite a joyful thing too. So friendship. Just make sure that you're getting enough, because it's so important. They now say that loneliness is as bad for us as smoking, and we all know that smoking is diabolical. So perhaps that's something to ponder. See you next time.